Hey, Greg.
Morning, David. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
So
good.
today's our big Patreon live stream.
Patreon live stream.
So
So,
if you are a Patreon and you want to join us on the air, feel free to either check the patreon.com/3D make it and for the link, or go into our Discord and there is a link in there. Dominic joined us briefly for the pre-show, and unfortunately, his bandwidth is a little lacking, so he was cutting in and out. So he will be joining us in the chat, and
mhm,
so
mhm.
we will be monitoring the chat and for anyone who's joining in, and hopefully maybe Ray will join in or someone else. So yeah, but how are you doing today, David?
Mm, pretty good. I've got a pop, so life's good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have a few things that I threw into our show notes, but
Well, I better open them.
we don't have to jump into them. If there's other stuff we can that come up in chat, we can definitely do that.
Mhm.
Um, I do want to we got an email from a gentleman who is looking for technical support on a printer that I've never heard of before. It was supposedly a professional printer, um, and he wanted support. And we don't really do that. If you join Patreon and whatnot, we will definitely try to help because we try to help our patrons and whatnot. So if that's something that he's interested in doing, he can feel free to join
Yep.
there, and then we can take a look at and whatnot because we're not a pay for help kind of
Yeah.
service.
Not anymore anyway. We did way back when.
Yeah,
But that was I think 4 or 5 years ago now.
yeah. So
Uh
yeah,
oh yeah. I do know the printer he's talking about. I've I've seen them, not in the wild, but I've
I've never
seen
seen them
them.
in the wild. So
Yeah.
so I mean I haven't even opened the G code yet to even have a look at just to see because most of the settings should be in the G code, but
yeah.
yeah, I'm not familiar with it sounds like it might be closed source.
Oh,
um,
it's they use like a chopped up. It's CreateBot is the printer, and they use
yeah,
Marlin kind of chopped up. Um, that's about all I have to say about it. Really, it's
yeah, yeah,
from what I've seen, it's just a printer.
yeah,
So that's good, right?
yeah,
But I think I'm just getting the show notes. There we go. I opened the stuff and then I forgot to snap it. Whoa, that's terribly bright. Let's put it over there so I don't wash my face out. All right,
but
we did it.
yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we do live every Sunday at 10 a.m. And you can join us at youtube.com/3D make it. So feel free to join us on Sundays. And this today is our like I said, our Patreon live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that once a month, and then we do nerdy talk on various topics on 3D printing throughout the month. And we are starting a series right away here on what, David?
Oh yeah, we're starting Clipper. I know it's about time, but we're gonna be doing Clipper. It'll be great. I don't
It
know. Do we do a Raspberry Pi 5? Hmm.
we we've talked about it, um, but we could try. I mean, I don't own a Raspberry Pi
Neither do
5.
I, but hey, do we need an excuse to buy a Raspberry Pi?
Not really.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
Does anyone need an excuse to buy a Raspberry Pi?
No.
No. But so a few slicer related things. So Prusa Slicer beta is now out.
Precisizer?
Yeah.
Never heard of it. How does it
Uh,
work?
well, you slice things with it. It takes the model and it'll
Uh-huh.
slice it into layers, and then you 3D printer can use it.
Oh, well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Is it a new thing or
No.
just kidding? I know places.
But yeah, so 2.7 brings some small improvements. They say they are adjusting travel and slope and a number of
Mm.
things. They're changing some of the travel moves, inspired by some of the features that were in Bamboo Studio, which is really interesting. So they're taking some of the improvements that Bamboo has made and then now implementing them. So it's nice to see them go back and forth and pick features that will improve the product, and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So
Did you see
uh,
the most important feature of all, though?
no,
The very most important feature? They're adding Benchy to the shape gallery. So you could just add Benchy now inside of Processizer. You don't have to download
well,
it.
are they fixing the model
Yeah.
so that it doesn't have the flaw in it?
I don't know, but they're adding the model to the template model. So it's in the shape gallery.
Oh, I wonder
I,
what
bet,
kind of permission they had to get to do that.
I don't know. I wonder if it's called Boat or Benchy. Hmm.
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 Well, the other thing that's out is the new Bamboo Studio. If you're so inclined to use a Bamboo printer, they have a new version 1.8. Public beta is out, so they're
Mm-hmm.
going into new features, and Orca Slicer, which is based on uh, Bamboo Studio, which is based on Prusa.
Well,
Oh,
like,
Inception!
have you used Bamboo Studio before?
I
Have you?
have not.
So, like, Bamboo Studio works with like other printers as well. It's like
Yes.
when you obviously you can, and you can custom build a printer too if it's not in the files. But, um, like
It's a
when I
very
use
it's
it,
webish, right?
it's webbish, but it's also like Kira esque with Prusa together
Okay.
because like the menus, how do you say? The menus in Bamboo Slicer, instead of being like, Prusa has the three tabs along the top,
Yeah.
but Bamboo, it has like the long list of menu items on the side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're still organized in the Prusa Slicer way, but like they list the menu, which I actually kind of
Okay.
like. I don't when I started oh goodness, when I started printing like in 2014, way back when in printer
In
days,
the way back time.
it was Slick 3R, right? So, or Slicer, I guess is what they wanted it to be called, but um it was non-intuitive. It was, it was like hid behind the three windows, and then Kira was there, and like everything was like laid out in this nice flow.
Hmm.
And I kind of like I appreciate that, but I like the feature set and in Slicer.
Right.
Prusa has come a long way, obviously, and we both love Prusa Slicer. So,
Yes, use
um,
it quite a bit. Mind you, Kira just came out like last week. We talked about it. They're out with
mhm.
their 5.5 now.
Meow.
So definitely check that out if you're into it. So
Mhm.
and there's new fluid out. If anyone cares,
uh,
fluid is a GUI that goes on top of your clipper
mhm.
to help you more easily control it. I use Mainsail typically, um, and they're at 2.8, but Fluid is at 1.26. 3 days ago it came out, and then a month ago the 2.8 of Mainsail came out, and then there is a new revision to Clipper. We're at version 0.12 of Clipper. One day we'll get to version one.
One day,
One
I was
day.
like, it's like when Marlon turned two. We got there eventually. It was great. Now, uh, Greg mentioned fluid and mainsail, and they're pretty much the same, except obviously fluid was forked from mainsail, and so they saw the development team saw a need to fork it to make some changes that they thought were good. So I
Yep.
fork things.
Yep. So they're similar but different, and they all use the what is it, Moonraker
Moonraker.
API, I
Yep.
believe. So, um,
Moonraker.
which
Mhm.
which allows so we'll get into this more when we go into the deeper dive into Clipper, and then we'll talk about the GUIs and stuff. And so if anyone has followed our previous Marlin look at Marlin and whatnot, that we did a deep dive on compiling Marlin and whatnot. We're gonna do it. It'll be similar. Obviously, Clipper is a little bit different
Mhm.
of a beast, and so we'll be looking at it. Try to do a deep dive to really hopefully help you wrap your head around it, and then have some fun playing with it. So yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
that
Very
is
true.
coming up. But do you know what we have, David? We
Oof.
we have something else that's gonna go on, and people need to check it out. Do you know what that is?
Mhm. The
What is it?
holiday gift contest giveaway,
Yes,
something thing sponsored by Spool 3D.
right. I'm just going to go to it now.
He's going to it now, folks.
I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, if I can get there.
You can tell we use Restream once a month. It's like,
Right?
how do I? The new thing I think is going to be much better. And hopefully it solves some bandwidth issues, so like Dominic can join and other folk, because I know you're not the only one that had
Oh,
bandwidth concerns when
there we
joining.
go.
So
All right. So this is a great holiday design off 2023, everyone. So it's sponsored by Spool 3D. Thank you, Derek at Spool, for sponsoring us again this year. So a couple of main things you need to know is you need to make a little bauble tchotchke, whatever, something seasonal. It doesn't have to be related to the season, but something winter esque would be
winter-esque.
nice.
Hmm.
Family friendly, please, of course. And just remember, make it original. You can share the links from your favorite sharing site, or you can email them to info@3dmakeit.ca. Size should be within 150 by 150, because we want to make sure that anyone with any type of printer can print it. So we just want to make sure that if we share it out, we can go from there.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so a few dates. The contest closes December 14th. Please, if you want us to print it and have it show it live, try to get the stuff in prior to that. On the 11th, we'd like that. And then the draw will be on the 17th, which is the probably one of the last streams before Christmas kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
So,
there'll be a bit of a break. We also have, if you have a design that's specifically made for resin printer or FDM, you can let us know when you submit it. We can print either of those, and so
yes,
we,
absolutely.
we can laser burn them, cut them. Pretty much
Yeah.
any design you got, we could.
Have you talked about your new little toy that you got
Sound.
this summer?
I
I don't
don't,
know.
well, like
I don't know.
people know people know of its existence. Like I did mention I bought, but I have a Falcon 2 laser burner engraver thing, and it's been Honestly, my wife's been busier than I have on it.
Yeah,
It's
she's been David was over at David's the other day, and he was showing me one of the cutting boards.
mhm.
They etched the top with the laser, and then she did some resin infill on it, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, she's I mean, the printers are great, but like for her, it was always a matter of like learning slicer stuff, and the laser cutter is so much. Laser cutter is almost like a normal printer. You just put the image on, and if you have the right
Uh,
software, you just go.
right? It's just what do you use, Lightburn or?
Yeah, we have. I bought the license for Lightburn,
Hmm.
which wasn't too bad. I think it was about $89, and then
And then you just throw in an SVG vector
mhm.
graphic, and then
Any
away you
graphic
go.
actually. Lightburn
Oh, so
doesn't care. It'll rasterize images for
right.
you, and
But if you already have a vector, then
yeah,
that's probably
like
even easier.
yeah, if you're just doing yeah, like that board was just like a couple words, so the vector was easy. Choose your fill pattern. That's about as hard as it gets.
Right, right.
Dominic asks on the YouTube, will Clipper and Octoprint run on the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus? Absolutely, they will.
Yeah.
I can't actually like. I think it would run very well on a 3B Plus and a
It,
4B.
oh yeah, no,
I
for
don't
sure.
think you have issue.
I still have a couple of 3B,
Mhm.
and they work fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean the four is just racier, and then the five is even more so. So
yeah.
it's if you are making like a MAME uh gaming kind of box and
Arcadey
whatnot.
thing.
I mean, definitely a five will get you lots of virtual processing performance,
Hmm.
and whatnot. But Clipper will run just fine on older pies and whatnot, for sure.
Yep, it's one of those. The Raspberry Pi 3 is still very valid for a single board computer.
Hmm.
Um, like I think the improvements on it are iterative. Obviously, like Greg said, more graphic power, but like for our intents and purpose, and we kind of talked about it last week, but I think the Raspberry Pi 3 is still very valid for 3D
Yeah.
printing.
I think where the big change when you went to like the four was you've got more USB um, power, USB C.
You do,
It was
yeah, you
still
get.
it was still only, I think, 10100. I don't think it was gig yet.
Well, it was
Or did
gig,
it?
but it was over the
It was
USB bus, so it was like 300 meg
right. So
instead of
it
a.
was slower.
It said a
So
gig when you plugged it in to make you feel good.
yeah. Yeah, and then the throughput was limited, but a lot of that was fixed up with the Pi.
Hmm.
The four or five, I mean.
Yeah,
They even added a oh, PCIe bus to
yeah.
five.
Oh,
Now
and the
it's a 1X,
yeah.
but honestly, like that's pretty impressive. Like I've seen a couple guys get video cards running off of
Oh yeah.
it.
Well, and then like I think the four might have been the first one with the eMMC slot.
Yeah, and
I
they have
think it
they have
was.
two multi-port slots that can be used for cameras,
Yeah.
or what was the other thing they could be
Well, and
used
they all
for?
have the nice thing about a Pi is they haven't changed the GPIO pins
The
ever.
GPIO pins are going to be the same, but they did change the camera slots.
Hmm.
They got rid of the analog headphone jack.
Yeah, the Pi
Um,
5 actually looks different now. It's kind of like when the Raspberry Pi 1 came out, it still had like the
yeah,
yellow composite video port,
yeah.
and then when they went to the HDMI, it finally looked different.
Yeah, they also improved the power bus on it. So the USB C, they've improved it, so you can power it for any like PD kind of power supply, USB C, and it'll give it lots of juice, and it has a decent I guess, power rectifier or whatever on it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
But yeah, but moral of the story is, yeah, it'll run Clipper. 3B's fine.
yeah, yep,
um,
yeah. And actually the Pi Zero 2,
that's a good choice. Yeah.
actually, because it basically has the 3B chip on it,
Hmm.
um, not the regular Zero,
No.
but the Zero 2,
Yep.
it will run it actually quite well as well.
Yeah, it's really
So
good. Like it runs Octoprint. The only downfall of the Zero 2 is if you're running Octoprint, you do have to buy a hub
yes,
because
because
there's
you're
only one
limited.
USB
It's Yeah,
header.
you've got USB power and then the USB port.
Yep.
And so if you want more multiple ports, yes, like David said, you need a hub of some sort. And preferably a powered hub, because you don't want to be just s- sucking the juice right out of your pie that you're trying to power your pie with and get low voltage or something off the
Yeah. I mean,
processor.
the voltage, so like I run on my Pi 3B plus, I will run two hard drives, one spinning, one solid state.
Hmm.
And I've never run into like collision or like low power warning yet, but it could happen.
Well,
We run into it
if
sometimes with the printers, right? It says
yeah,
low voltage warning.
well, and you'll get a lot of that if you don't run the actual power supply that they supply,
Yeah,
because not all power supplies for USB are rated equal.
yeah.
They're
So like
created equal, I guess.
Dominic popped a point up there, and it's a good point to make. For Raspberry Pi 4 and 5, I am fine on the 3 too much, but on the 4 and 5, active cooling is necessary. So
Well,
like,
but I think what he's referring to is they've actually got their own custom heatsink now that has active cooling that plugs into the board separately,
yeah.
which we used to have to run the cooling off of the GPIO pins, and now
Mhm.
you do
They
not
have like
have
the,
to.
yeah, and it I think it's an add-on though, right?
Yeah, but it comes from them.
Okay. So I'm gonna see how much it is. Raspberry Pi 5 cooler, buy now. Buy it through Pi Shop. Go.
Buy
Seven
it through.
bucks. $7. Good job, guys.
That's reasonable.
Fantastic job. Now there is another there's another brand called oh goodness. I think it's Geek Pie. Um
Oh
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. And they make coolers for like Raspberry, yeah, it's Geek Pie. They make coolers for Raspberry Pi 4 and even 3, I think, and 5 now. The but Geek Pie fans are guaranteed silent, and they are. Like
Oh yeah.
that's who made that acrylic case that we used.
Oh, okay.
So like they're silent fans, whereas the blower on this one looks like
Oh
it's a side blower similar to what's
yeah.
on the side of your like Ender 3 3V2 CR10. So
Right.
you know how loud those are. That's about how loud that fan will be.
Yeah. It is kind of cool that um they have a battery for a real time clock now too.
Hmm. Yes,
And
that's a cool
then
feature.
and a dedicated UART debug port, which is kind of neat. And David, a power button.
See, now that's sweet because everybody's been wanting, like, so do you remember? So we bought Raspberry Pi 4 kits and they had like the inline power thing on the cable,
Yes,
like
that
the little
was that
switch.
was
That was the best thing, and now you could do it on the Pi. Why
yeah,
did we
it's
have a power switch on the Pi?
right. Well,
Now,
and it integrates the LED into the power switch, so it makes a whole lot of sense.
there
Like they
is
that's a great feature. So
there
yeah.
is one downfall to that, and that's the security factor. When it is, if you need that Pi to always be running and it's all hardwired, and you can just push a button to shut it off, that might be a problem sometimes. But
Sometimes, but
Um, I'm
hopefully
just
not.
checking. I think the Raspberry Pi 4. Yeah, the Raspberry Pi 4 recommended voltage too is 5.1 volt or 5.1 amp. So
Yeah.
they're very similar with the power consumption there.
Yeah.
Uh but the moral is if you're buying a new Pi and you see a good price on a 5, snarf it up. I think the Pi 5 is actually like back into the price model of like the pies were before the crazy upside down happened. Because like there was a time where Raspberry Pi 3s were $400. Yeah, so Raspberry Pi 5, it looks like you get the 4 gig 5, 84 Canadian, so probably about
Well,
$60
so if you
American.
get the CAN kit, Raspberry 4 gig CAN kit starter kit, which includes memory,
Mhm.
USB cables, power supply, case with fan, heatsink. So it's kind of their deluxe kit. It's $139 Canadian for
Thanks for
Raspberry
letting me
Pi
know,
5.
Dominic. I will see what we can do about that. YouTube's starting to put mid-roll ads on stuff, so
They did
just
a
one.
mid-roll ad in our live.
Yeah, they started doing that. So I'll look at
Uh,
it. I'm seeing if I can shut it off right now. Because we just like obviously the streams are monetized, but we just like them at the beginning and the end.
well, yeah,
But we might not have
and
a choice.
well, and it's one thing to have them like the beginning of the end, and but not mid when we're busy, talking. We don't want people to miss stuff.
Well, that's just it. And it's not like you get to catch up after. I have to do it before the stream starts. So it's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately. But
Well,
uh,
hopefully that doesn't happen again. Sorry.
the, well, it's called mid. So I think we made it. I don't know.
Mhm.
So they, in this week in Discord, Dominic posted a thing. Mhm.
I haven't watched it yet. It's teaching tech, so I often watch his stuff.
Teaching tech's pretty good. He's pretty honest. He's a reviewer, YouTuber that does project things on the side. Not like uh, so he's like the juxtaposition of printing nerd.
Yeah.
The printing nerd does lots of projects where teaching tech does lots of like literally teaching because he's a teacher. Um, yeah, like it would be nice. I agree. I agree. It would be nice to know if they pop up. But the 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 video in question is his review on the Prusa XL and his current state. And I've seen actually kind of like lots of reviews recently of lots of new printers like this, but the basically it's just saying that like the 5 tool Prusa XL is like flawed was the title. I didn't make up the title. I'm just saying that's what the title was. And he has some valid points because we're talking like tool changing, right? But like his complaints, I don't know if they were complaints, but the things that he thought could have been better before they made it to the
Mhm.
consumer, right? Would be better G code. And that like for the
And you
start
you you think
and
they would have worked that out a little
right
before they shipped? I
because
mean, it
that's
it was in development a long time, and
well, I
I
remember it like 2 or 3 years ago.
well, 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it the wasn't it the E3D had their tool changer,
Well, that
and
was
so
yeah, that was before the
right,
pandemic even.
and so, but it was just kind of a development platform,
Yeah.
and then I believe Prusa liked it a lot, and so then they started to develop their own, and they announced it. I think it was 2 years ago,
Yeah, and then they started
and then
developing and
and then they they came out with it, but it's I don't know. It looks cool, but then Bamboo came out and kind of
well, and
knocked everyone's socks off with
like
what they were doing.
like and overall he like the printer was okay. It's just like he said like there's like the G codes is one he wanted, so it has the time estimates on print jobs are just kind of crazy.
Like so,
The
like way, way, way off.
oh yeah, way off.
Like
Um,
by hours or minutes?
almost hours. And
Okay.
then also it has a hard time with like filament color and then and that kind of stuff.
Like,
Um,
what do you mean by has a hard time with color? Like in transitioning?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like that. And then um he was now I don't know if this is in Prusa Slicer or it's like a feature he wanted, but like it does mention the print tower. So if you're not familiar with multi-material,
Yeah, you
um
have a purge tower.
purge tower, which like
Yeah.
if you change color, right, it'll print X amount of filament. And like the filament change logic, if you're going from a light color to light color, should be quicker and programmed in as quicker if you're going from a dark to a light color. If you're going from a light color to a dark color, again, that's easy. But like the dark colors actually take longer to purge out of the system, so the tower
Which
needs to be higher.
but here's the thing, like if it's a tool changer and your color's in a different tool,
Mhm.
your transition time wouldn't it be less?
Well, you would think so, and
Right?
if it truly is, um,
Because there's
if
nothing really to purge at
if
that
it
point.
truly is in a different tool, but remember when it comes to IDEX and multiple extruders, they always do have like a waste bucket too. So like I'm not
That's
sure,
true.
but I think like he's thinking the tower would be nice. Just and honestly, it would be the problem is with the tower is if you're using a tower on an IDEX or like multi-material, you know, like with multiple heads, you're gonna have you're guaranteed. It's not even a not guaranteed. You're guaranteed to waste filament because you don't actually have to like print it. But I could see if you wanted to print it, that the option should be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I remember when you did the Batman,
no, 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 no.
the
Yep.
colored Batman with the
Hmm.
mosaic
The palette. It was.
palette. The waist tower weighed way more.
Oh yeah, it was a chunky. It was a chunky waist tire, and you had this little Batman. It was cool, but I think we said it at the time, and I'll say it again. The just filament switching is better than trying to color match in a print, like for cost wise. And then the best thing is this an IDEX or a multi tool machine is your next less wasteful thing, right?
Well, I don't know if it, honestly, Dominic said that it's like $2,000, right, for this, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
just
so
looking.
for 2 grand,
Hmm.
um, I think I'd run out and buy a bamboo.
Well, okay, that's fair, but let's put some perspective behind that because in Canada, Prusa is not really an option. Like, I can't go to a store and be like, "I'll buy a Prusa printer." Like, lots of
No,
them
well,
are.
no, but like for up until recently, you couldn't do that with bamboo either, right?
That's true.
So let's just take that off the table because recently Spool 3D, for example, one of our sponsors today for our contest, they they
Yeah,
actually now are a reseller for bamboo.
yeah, yeah,
So but that's a very recent thing because it was online previously, right?
yeah, and like I think as that company grew, they got more and more comfortable, right? But when you look at the $2,000 for like the Prusa XL, like in its base state it is just a single head printer, so
Well, I mean,
$2,000 gets you
yeah, if
the printer, and then you
because
can choose the number of tool heads. So if you add more than one, so if you have two, it's $500 more, so it's 2,500.
yeah,
If you have five, which is kind of what the platform you mentioned,
the bamboo does 4 colors
yeah,
out of
so
the box if you get the one unit with the and so like and that's $1,500.
Yeah, so to get 5 on the Prusa is 3,500 American. So, um, and again, like there's just some changing logic, and I think that'll get better. Honestly, it's a slicer change, but uh, printers be printers, you know. Now we don't have the list, but on the picture because it's in Restream. But I wonder if I can grab it from mine. One sec.
What do you want?
Patreon, thanks. There, I did
Oh,
it. Oh, it's
oh well.
backwards.
Just let me go full screen for you.
No, it's backwards though.
Well, but you can still go. Wait a minute. I don't.
That's you.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
He hates us, but it's
Well,
backwards. I don't. Can I fix it?
I don't know.
Let's see. I'm going to see if I can fix it. Transform. Flip.
I can't. It does
There.
not want. It does not want to let me.
That's fine. It's on the screen now. So thank you to all the patrons that support us. This day's for you. We seem a little short on Patreons today, but hey, that's fine. So thanks everybody that's on the list. I do realize we changed times too, so that might be a thing. But Hells Johnson at the top there, and then everybody in the middle. You guys are great. You make the wheels go around and things happen. And like we mentioned before too, the Discord exists for Patreon, so you can follow us at patreon.com/3dmakeit and then get on the Discord. And like Greg mentioned as well, if you do have those printer problems, this is the place to go. Because not only will you have access to our brains, but our patrons are pretty smart people too. And to quote somebody recently, there's enough brains in the room that they could fix the problem. So I appreciate all of the patrons on this list, and then I'll get back to mine now. Boom.
There we go. We're back.
I did it. I even figured out how to flip it horizontally.
That was. I just figured I'd turn myself off so they went full screen.
That's a good thing, right? It's big. So we are going to be doing, like, we're in November, but the next just gonna look at my calendar here to get the good date. So our next Patreon engagement would probably be the 9th, or we could do
Probably the December 10th. You mean?
Yeah, the 10th, or we could do the 27th with the contest close date. But I think we do the 10th. So the next one will be 10th.
Well, it would be the 10th or the 17th.
10th.
Because the 24th is kind of.
That's booked. We like you guys a lot, but it's booked. Yeah, so 10th, and then we'll do the contest stuff. And then we will also have we'll announce hopefully like the winner of the contest, but just before Christmas, I think.
Sure.
But won't be on the stream. It'll be through the web page first, and then maybe in the new year on the stream. So
yeah, absolutely.
Now there is one more thing, and I wonder if I can find it. I had it up here. I did want to talk briefly about kind of where we're at with like our scheduled videos, and I know some people have been asking like, hey, why isn't there a new video or this and that? So the scheduled videos actually do get a lot of views and traction still. I know
we just haven't really had time with work and stuff.
Well, it's not a time thing for me. It's if something hasn't changed, I'm not going to make a video just to remake the same video.
Mind you, we haven't done a comparison between. Maybe it's time to do a comparison between like Bamboo, Prusa, and the new Kira, because there's 3.
That's easy. Kira is spelled with 4 letters. Bamboo is spelled with 5.
I see what you did there.
I'm like we will have. We could do something like that. It's just some of this stuff is static in time, and like having that reference video, it's already there.
Well, Clipper could be one of those ones that we go into.
It will be, because we do have I think we have like 5 Marlin videos which actually are still relevant. Thankfully, Marlin just keeps adding stuff, not taking stuff away. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And then, so the Clipper one hopefully will be relatively similar. But I think time will tell because Clipper does seem sometimes their file changes just a little bit between revisions, but not
Well,
much.
I think a lot of it we need to talk about is just the different nuances compared to what you would normally understand from Marlin to Clipper if someone's transitioning, right? The
Hmm.
way because the config file versus compiling and whatnot, like it's a lot different because it's live changes. You're not recompiling every time and stuff. So there's a little nuances there to wrap your head around.
It's
It's
very
easy.
true.
It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy once you've done it a few times, and you may even like it more.
Well, and I mean, you'll find that like this is one of those hills people die on, and it's really funny because it doesn't have to be. But
No,
like, oh, you use Marlin, you're such a luddite. Oh, you use Clipper. Wow, no. They're both great firmwares. They work great. Compare a Bamboo and K1.
well that would
Um,
be cool, but we don't have either a bamboo or a K1. So if Creality would like to send us
a K1.
a K1
Yeah.
and Bamboo would like to send us a bamboo and show off how better they are against each other, we would just be happy to do that for them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Tickled pink, we would be. Uh,
Absolutely.
I could tell you what I would pick right now without using them. Like or without having them here, I'd still buy bamboo. Whoa.
Whoa,
Um.
whoa.
So here's
I
the
don't
thing.
know. I don't know.
Like
Maybe
Creality.
they Creality might impress you.
Well, here's the thing. It's been out long enough that yeah, it would be fine. But like if it was a day launch K1 versus a launch day bamboo, bamboo hand down. Um, Creality still to this day treats its initial shipping units
It's
as
beta.
beta,
Yeah.
and like even in like the new Ender series, which has been out for I don't remember when the Ender printer came out. Now I want to say probably like 2019, roughly
Yeah.
was the first Ender 3. Um, it's been the same printer yet we still get to beta test all the new features.
Yeah,
Um,
we've been using the Neo, and it's a nice little printer,
it works
but
really good.
it's it's fine. So
What was the one? The first one they kickstarted, the CR6 or
oh
something.
yeah,
I
that
think that
one
was,
was very beta.
and the board would catch fire.
Yeah, they had some shorts and stuff.
But so did the Ender 3 Pro, right? The if it was really
Oh
funny, you had to be a expert on the
well, the wiring
XTC
was wrong.
connector, right? And
Yeah,
it was like, if you have this yellow connector that's slightly different than this yellow connector,
it wasn't the
it'll
real
catch
one.
fire.
Yeah,
So I just took the L connector out and put a
yeah,
wire,
yeah,
right? Which I think everybody should really do. Um,
yeah.
it's good for
I
you.
mean, they've matured. I've got one, two, three Creality printers right here, and
Hey,
so
Helge.
I'm not knocking it all. Hey, Helge, I haven't seen you in ages.
He was here last week.
Was he?
Yeah, I said hello to him last week too, but you
Oh,
weren't. Or was
oh
that the
well.
week before?
Oh, might have
There's
been the week before.
there was 1 week you were here. Anyway, hi, Helge.
Yeah,
But
good to see you.
so like, yeah, we would compare them for sure. We just don't have them, and if I buy another printer, I might have to sleep in my garage. Yeah, last week. Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I think right now, we got like I think 11 printers here.
yeah.
So yeah, I've
No,
got
oh,
enough.
I would consolidate a few of my printers. I think, and maybe if I didn't customize them so much, maybe I would sell them. But
Well, I'm
because
happy to
there's
sell them, but nobody wants
but
to buy them.
well, just so that I could, because I definitely wouldn't mind, upgrading to like a bamboo or whatever. So,
It's true. Like on that topic, if you are selling printers, you have to walk away from the mindset of I upgraded this printer, so it's worth more. Because nobody's going to buy like an Ender 3 from you that's like $700 when they can buy a brand new one for 350 or
absolutely,
less.
it's like when you buy a car and drive it
Yeah.
off the lot. It's now worth 30% less than when you got
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, even though you've put all those nice aftermarket mods or speakers or whatever it
Doesn't
is in,
matter.
who cares? It's still the same car, and
To someone
and
else, it's a used car.
yeah, and so like when you look at like you might have made the next person's life easier, but it won't mean anything when it comes to like sale value. Hell's just got a bamboo. Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'd like a bamboo. It might be in the cards to like 'cause like Greg said, maybe sell 4 or 5 and then just make one do the like I've been trying to sell a giant Core XY for a while.
yeah.
Maybe I should try again. Though the small one's great, Helge.
The A1. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks pretty. It looks pretty sweet.
You can ask
Yep.
Greg. I've I've always liked the look of the smaller ones better because like all the print jobs you do usually fit on them anyway.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
true.
and then the other 7
Everyone
printers in your
wants a
house.
huge printer until they have a huge printer, and then
Yeah.
they realize that they don't print huge all the
Well,
time.
that and big printers like are not like movable either. Like if you want to walk down the hallway with one, the
Yeah,
chances are you're gonna shake something loose on it and it
yeah.
will stop working.
I mean, I can see if you are a commercial company and you need to print big things, a
Mhm.
big printer makes sense. But I've got my big printer right there,
Yeah, I got one of
and
those too.
and I haven't. Besides when I first got it and did all my big prints, um, yeah, I print small things.
Well, and it's not like you print on purpose small things, but like there's two type of people that print, right? The people that print their parts or like things that are important to them, or the people that are printing Mandalorian armor.
I don't print like giant Zelda swords, and I don't print.
Hey,
I
whoa.
not I'm fine with that. I just don't do it.
I printed the Zelda sword off the Ender. Like somebody had already designed the Zelda sword to print on the Ender printer. So it prints on the build plate of 250 by 250 and I think 6 sections, and then you just glue them all
Yeah.
together. It was work fine. And how it says the CR10 is the big one he's got, and yeah, honestly, this favorite printer, um, for size and just the way it works.
Yeah.
The Predator, or sorry, the Chirons or the Chirons, however you want to say it, like they work fine. I
Yeah,
haven't had
no,
an issue,
yeah,
although
they
my
work good.
extruder is missing like 2/3 of the parts, and I just don't care because if you get the filament loaded, it works. It works just fine. So it's just annoying to get the filament in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but when it comes to print size, I think small printers are more versatile and you have more. Obviously, they take up less space, so that's good. I've been printing on my Ender 5 for 3 years. I've only had to split 3 models because they wouldn't fit on the bed.
Right,
Right?
and
Yeah.
that's the thing. You can split the models.
Yeah. Prusa
Did you?
Slicer makes it super easy, and
Yeah,
Kira has the plugin that does it.
Helge, did you get the AMS, the new AMS Lite or whatever it is with it?
He says
Um,
color printer, so I would think so, but
well,
multi most things can be printed in sections anyway. It's true, yeah.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but yes, the interest. Yeah, like when you look at most of the stuff people print, if it's not structural, like if you're talking like metal sintering printing and that stuff, you're not splitting them up,
No,
unless of course they're machined to like
but
join with a bolt.
most of the time you're not making a part that's the size of the Mandalorian. You're not going to make a Mandalorian helmet
Nice.
and cincher it.
He says full version AMS.
Nice.
Beauty.
Nice.
Yeah, the Mando helmet. But like we all know the tricks to like like when you're finishing a model that's like a Mando helmet, like yeah, you glue it all together, bondo it, sand it, paint it, looks good.
My Mando helmet is in the back corner over there.
Which one did that come off of?
That came out off of the CR10.
CR10.
It maxed the bed though. That was my biggest print I've ever done on that one. Like it was edge to edge. I had to turn the model slightly so that it would fit on the bed, and
Yeah.
it printed really well. It printed really nice.
Yeah, CR10. I love CR10. You have that's the V2, right?
Yeah, this is the V2, and then
Yeah.
I have the Bondtech extruder on it.
Right.
I made an adapter and modified the plate and everything. And
See, I
it
thought
works
about
really
putting
good.
I have that H2 I was gonna put on the shear on,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, but it works fine just like this.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
I've got on my Chiron, I have
Other side. Point over your other shoulder. Yes.
There we go. I've got an E3D Chimera.
Right, that's what it is. Yeah, which would be the match to the H2.
Yeah,
Like
it's very similar.
and that one came out around the same time, and they suffer the same issues.
Yeah.
I.e., if you get a piece of filament that wants to get stuck in there, you take the whole thing apart.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Great.
that one's not too bad. It's I haven't had too many jams. My jam
Like
haven't been printing too much lately.
raspberry, strawberry,
No, none.
blueberry.
No jams.
No jams. That's sad.
No marmalades either.
Boo. Wah, wah,
But
wah.
so if you like what we do here, you can join us on Patreon. For all of you out there, I'm going to just I'm going to have to let David talk, because if I go full screen,
Oh no, it's fine. Look, it's
okay,
it's
looks
framed
pretty
it
good.
perfectly.
All right, so Helge, who just happens to be in chat today, is at their tree support level. Dominic, who also is in chat, is at the other level, and whatnot. So thanks everyone for who supports us on Patreon. They join us in our Discord on a regular basis, wherein we have great chats and troubleshooting and share lots of different things in there. So you can join us, and yeah. And also, don't forget, which Ray, who's normally here, also normally says this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That way, the algorithm gods get to actually, promote us on the YouTubes. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Maybe because no one's really sure how the algorithms work. They're a mystery. Mystery.
He says the A1 works really nice, and maybe an X1 next year.
Yeah, like when I started like printing, it was like, well, I want to print big projects, so I need a bunch of printers, and which is true, unless you have this thing called patience. And
Which
then
we know you have in abundance.
Yeah, that's why I have lots of printers. But now we've realized the sweet spot for the number of printers at home is like 4 at the most.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right? And because then you can print like lots of different I mean, really, if you have 4 printers, you can print a object that requires multi-part assembly. Like even when we were doing your when we were doing your I figured out what happened to those bearings, by the way. On the Ender 3 that went into the enclosure.
Oh, did they fill up with goo?
No. But it got warm on the bed specifically.
It melted the bearings? The plastic retainers?
Well, no. The oil seems to have the lubricant is lacking. And since they're sealed, I think I'll just need new bearings.
Oh well.
So
I have a video on that.
Yeah, I know. I followed it once. But yeah, and I mean that's gonna happen. There's better bearings and obviously rollers, but the Ender
We'll do a
Then
linear
you're
reel upgrade.
yeah, which it might have to be because that one does live in an enclosure. Um, it's the one that we print like ABS on. I printed Greg's
See,
over his
it,
shoulder there. You can see the purple and green.
yeah,
That
little
was
Hulk.
little Hulk guy there. Yeah, that's his Voron in the corner. So
Well, the other thing you may want to do is just get the bamboo.
well, maybe rails, but no, I'm okay with an Ender 3 living in the enclosure. It's just
Yeah,
like it's a symptom of heat.
yeah,
But
it
that
is.
thing barely moves. It's great. You're like,
It's true. It's true. It's true.
yes. But we shall bid you all a fond
Adieu.
week. Adieu.
And Helge, if you didn't catch it, we have the contest running again, so you can enter and design something on your bamboo, and then we can show it off. And there's two prizes. So if two people enter, 100% of the people win.
I mean, that's true. He's not wrong.
Because if 10 people enter, your odds are still really good.
It's true.
Yeah. So I think Dominic won last year, and Stig won last year.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him. I'm in a few
Yeah,
different things, but
I've tried to reach out to him. I know he was a little ill, so I'm hoping everything is going okay.
yep. But until next time, friends, which will be next week, we'll see ya. Have a good one.
Bye.